So I did a tree job for this family, and it was a leaflet, which means that I cut the tree down and they clean it up. I don't have to touch it. And I was talking to the lady, and she said how when they go to burn brush, that she gets nervous that the wind's gonna blow or pick up. So every time the wind blows just a little bit, she gets the hose out, she sprays it down, and they're done. And it got me thinking, it really ties in with what I've been dwelling on and wanting to share with you for a really long time. A principle that I feel like I've been dwelling on for years, but then just recently, sitting in a church service, the Bible jumped out to me and it was like, that's exactly what I was talking about. There it is. And it blew my mind. I know I'm not going to give this justice, but I'm seeing a bunch of vloggers that are just walking down the road with an action camera and they're sharing their conversations and what they want to tell you. So essentially that's what I'm doing. We just got home, the sun's going down, and before I go in to eat dinner, I really wanted to record this and be like, you know what? I'm going to put it out into the universe for everybody to see. This is something that preachers aren't going to tell you, or at least in my experience, they're not going to tell you. Because in my experience with the churches that I've gone to, everything is a spiritual matter, which there's nothing wrong with that. But the Bible gives us biblical principles for all of living, like every single area of your life. But when it comes to being diligent, when it comes to making money, when it comes to everyday things, a lot of times those get overlooked and they don't get preached behind the pulpit. And you got to find those truths out for yourself. And I stumbled across this passage in my favorite book, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 11. Let me share with you. I'm going to read this passage, and then I'm going to break down bit by bit exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to start with verse number 3. The Bible says, "If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all. In the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening withhold not thine hand. For thou knowest not whether shall prosper, either this or that, or whether they both shall be alike good." All right, so this is the breakdown, okay? Now, if you're still with me, I'm shocked because I'm kind of rambling on this, but it's amazing. Okay, the first part, it says, if the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves. In other words, nature does what nature does. The clouds fill with rain, and it rains. The Bible says the sun rises on the just and the unjust. So nature does what nature does. Then it says, and if a tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. In other words, what direction is the tree going to fall? You don't know. You don't know if it's going to fall north. You don't know if it's going to fall south. But wherever it lands, that's where it's at. In other words, things happen. And it's unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to go this way or if it's going to go that way. But just as sure as that tree is laying there, things happen. So nature runs its course and things happen. And then here is one of the key verses. It says, "He that observeth the wind shall not sow." Now, sow is planting seed, all right? And he's like, if you're observing the wind, then you're not going to sow. If you're looking for the perfect conditions in life, you're trying to make a foolproof plan. This is the path to success. And it doesn't matter what it is, all right? Whether it's actual farming or whether it's like a business that you're wanting to grow or a career path that you're chasing or relationships. It really doesn't matter what it is. I think here it really is talking a lot of financial, but it's saying you don't know what's going to happen. So if you're constantly observing the wind, waiting for those perfect conditions, then you're never going to do anything. You're never going to plant your seed. You're never going to sow. Okay? So follow me here. And then he says, "As thou knowest not the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones grow," right? You also don't know the works of God who make them all. In other words, God's in charge of everything and you're not. And you can't control anything. You don't know how things work. You don't know how God works. Quit trying to figure everything out because it's not going to happen. So then what does he say? He said, in the morning sow your seed, in the evening withhold not thine hand. In other words, go do something. Go plant your seed. You don't know if that crop is going to yield, or if that field over there is going to yield, or if they both are. You don't know if you're going to receive the fruit of your labor over here or over there or everywhere or nowhere. But I can guarantee you this, and this is what I want to leave with you, that if you don't plant your seed, if you don't sow, then you will never reap. If you don't do something, then you'll never get something out of it. I went to the same job that I hated for 10 years. I worked in a factory for 10 years and I hated my job. And I guess I always thought that things would get better, whatever, but my biggest thing is I didn't think anybody else could pay me enough to quit. I felt trapped, right? But as I was trying to get out and I was trying to figure it out, I kept telling a buddy of mine that if you don't try to get out of this place, you never will. You're going to become a lifer. You're going to be here forever. If you don't try to make a plan to get out and you just keep going to work every day, you're going to end up retiring from here. And I finally uprooted, moved to Arkansas, moved back, and now I have a job that it's okay. It's not a bad job. It's not a bad paying job. And in the meantime, I'm pursuing my own endeavors. But another thing is, if you're just going to work, okay, and you're going to work, you're coming home, and then you're sitting on the couch and you're watching TV. You're not doing anything. Like, there's excuses always in the way of, well, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't, whatever the case may be. And then you don't do anything. 10, 20, 30 years down the line, you're going to be in the same place that you were before. But if you have something, I don't even care if it's a hobby. If there's something that you're trying to learn, that you're trying to grow, you might not be successful in the first year or the first 5 years. Who knows? Maybe not even the first 10 years. I don't know. But if you're continuing to level yourself up and you're continuing to grow, you will see results from it somewhere, somehow. You will be bettering yourself somehow. But if you do nothing, you'll receive nothing. So I started my own tree service. And it's a side hustle, doing trees on the side, before I moved to Arkansas. And then I came back. And just this year, I started it up again. And this is the best year that I have ever had. This is a better year than the year that I had the big dump truck and all that. Like, this is my best financial year so far. Now, am I going to go full-time with it? Probably not. I thought about it, but it's not necessarily what I want. And a funny thing is, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do professionally. I would really like to just make these YouTube videos and that be my profession, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But what I do know is I have a vision for my kitchen for my wife. And in order to give her the kitchen that she wants, I'm busting tail this year and I'm making a bunch of money. And I'm able to renovate her kitchen this year because of all the extra work that I've done. That I see the end result, this is what I want out of life. And I'm chasing after it. And whether you see big results like this is my full-time job, this is what I want to do for a living, I'm going to quit my job and do this forever, or whether it's just a side hustle that makes extra cash so you can have the house that you want, or the car that you want, or be able to send your kids to go play sports and whatever sports they want to play, or go on that vacation with your wife that you always wished you could. Whatever the case may be, maybe even just being able to give to your church. If you don't do anything, then you don't receive anything. And I've got another video that I'm wanting to make. And please, if you want to hear it, please leave a message in the comments. But on chasing your dreams, what is a dream? I think dreams are selfish. Now, am I against chasing dreams? No. Because not all selfish things are bad things. Just because it's for you doesn't mean that it's bad. And my dreams, it's what I want to do for the rest of my life, how I want to make a living. But dreams change. And I had different dreams younger than I do now. And there was a time to where I was okay with being poor. I was okay with barely surviving. And I thought that I was doing okay as a dad until I couldn't afford everything. Until I had to do one of the hardest things that I feel I have to do as a dad, to tell my kids no. I'm sorry, I can't buy those shoes. I'm sorry, we can't go on that vacation. We can't do these things because I didn't have enough money. And when I had to tell my kids no on things that I really feel like as a dad I should be able to say yes, that's when I said, I can't be comfortable. I was comfortable in the job that I have now because it's not a hard job, it's not a bad job, and it pays okay. But when I had to tell my kids no for things, that's when I realized, okay, I need to do more. I need to make more. And I don't really want to retire from here. So I have no idea where I'm going in life, occupationally. I have no idea what the end goal is. But I will tell you this, that if you don't get started, then you'll never reach the finish line. If you don't start growing your skills in some area, if you don't start doing something, chasing something that you want to do, if you just accept reality as is, then you'll never get anywhere. You'll stay right where you are. Just like when I told my friend, if you don't have a plan to get out of this factory, you're never going to get out. And if you're not planting in the field because you're waiting for the perfect conditions, then you're never going to do it. So whether you're wanting to start a YouTube channel or start a small business or start a side hustle, just a little thing, no matter what you're wanting to do, get started. Do something. And I can't tell you where the end result's going to be. I can't tell you what success is because I haven't made it. But I will tell you that we're doing better today than we were yesterday. And I'm happy with the progress that we've made. I'm happy with the journey from where we were to where we are. And I encourage you to continue to take a journey yourself to try to get to where you want to be. So, anyways, I didn't do that justice at all. I know that I could have worded that so much better because I have been playing this story on repeat in my head every few days for weeks now. But hopefully I'll motivate one of you to do something. So like always, work harder and smarter. Stay diligent.